Hello, I'm Hayyu Kancana. I'm making a Tax 2 grammar analysis lesson. Topic about noun clause and adjective clause. Noun clause. What is a noun clause? A noun clause is a dependent clause that takes the place of any noun in sentence, whether they are subject, object, or subject complements. For example, she was saddened by what she had read. In the sentence above, the noun clause what she had read is being used as the object of the preposition by. And next, what are the 5 functions of noun clause? Number 1. Can function as subjects of sentence. Example, why my pet turtle stares at me all day is beyond me. In the sentence above, the underlined noun clause acts as a single subject of the independent clause. Number 2. Direct object can also function as a direct object of the verb in independent clause. Example, when my dog goes to doggy daycare, I don't know what he does, but he always has the best time. In the sentence above, the noun clause what he does is acting as the direct object of the verb now. Number 3. Indirect objects. Noun clause can also act as indirect object of the verb in the independent clause. Example, she chose the photograph Moper was willing to pose for her. In the sentence above, the direct object of the verb choose is the infinitive phrase to photograph. Just like a noun clause, this infinitive phrase is acting like the noun or direct object. Therefore, the noun clause Wumoparu was willing to pose for her is the indirect object of the same verb. Number 4. Object of the preposition. Other times, noun clause can act as the object of a preposition in the independent clause. Example, I like to keep schedule of when I have upcoming appointments. In the sentence above, the noun clause when I have upcoming appointment is acting as the object of the preposition of. Number 5. Subject complement. Lastly, noun clause can act as subject complements or nouns that follow linking verb. Example, actor can become whomever they want to be on the stage. In the sentence above, the noun clause whomever they want to be is the subject complement of the linking very become. Verb become. Adjective clauses. What are adjective clauses? Adjective clauses are also known as a relative clause, is a type subordinate clause that modifies a noun or pronoun in a sentence by providing additional information about it. Adjective clauses are introduced by a relative pronoun or relative adverb and are connected to the main clause in a sentence. Example, the man who was wearing a red hat is my uncle. In this sentence, the adjective clause who was wearing a red hat modifies the noun man and tells us more about specific person being referred to. And purpose of adjective clause. The purpose of adjective clauses is to provide additional information about a noun or pronoun in sentence. They are used to give more detail and specificity to a sentence and help clarify the meaning. For example, the woman who was speaking at the conference was never in her file. In the sentence, the adjective clause who was speaking at the conference provide additional information about the noun woman and tell us more about the specific person being referred to. An overview of the structure of adjective clauses. In English grammar can vary depending on the type of clause, but generally they are formed use a relative pronoun or relative adverb that is the subject or object of the clause and adverb. Here are some examples of the structure of adjective clauses. Number 1, relative pronoun as a subject. Formula subject plus verb plus object plus that or who or whom plus subject plus verb. Example, the person who or that I saw at the store is my friend. Number 2, relative pronoun as object. Subject plus verb plus object plus whom or that plus subject plus verb. Example, the woman whom I met yesterday is an artist. Number 3, relative adverb. Subject plus verb plus place or time or manner plus where plus when plus why plus subject plus verb. Example, the concert where I went the last night was amazing. And identifying adjective clauses. How to recognize adjective clauses is to look for a relative pronoun or adverb at the beginning of the clause. Common relative pronouns include who, whom, whose, that, and which. Common relative adverb include where, when, and why. If a clause begins with the one of these words, it's likely an adjective clause. For example, number 1, the woman who was speaking at the conference was an expert in her field. Number 2, the concert was I went to last night was amazing. Number 3, the person whom I saw at the store is my friend. And forming adjective clauses, use relative pronouns. Who refer to the subject of a clause. Whom refer to object of clause. Whose is used indicated preposition. That and which can use to refer to subject or object of a clause. Example, the woman who was speaking at the conference is an expert in her field. The woman whom I met yesterday is an artist. Use to relative adverb. Where refer to place, when refer to time, why refer to reason. Example, the city where I grew up is beautiful. And example number 2, the concert when I sang was sold out. Connecting adjective clauses to main clause. Adjective clauses are connected to the main clause by a comma and must follow the main clause. Example, the woman who was speaking at the conference is an expert in her field. The concert when I sang was sold out. Example of correctly formed adjective clause. The person whom I met yesterday is my friend. The book whose cover I like is in the library. Common mistake is using adjective clause. Misuse of relative pronouns. One common mistake is using adjective clause is using the wrong relative pronoun. Example, using who instead of whom or whose or using that instead of which. It is important to understand the correct usage of relative pronouns in adjective clauses. Example, incorrect. The woman who I met yesterday is an artist. Correct. The woman whom I met yesterday is an artist. And omitting relative pronouns or adverb. Another mistake is omitting the relative pronoun or adverb altogether. This can make a sentence unclear and harder to understand. Example, incorrect. The woman I met yesterday is an artist. Correct. The woman whom I met yesterday is an artist. Comma splices. A clause where a comma is used to separate two independent clauses instead of the semicolon or conjunction. Example, the woman was an expert in her field. She was speaking at the conference. The woman was expert in her field. She was speaking at the conference. Or the woman who was an expert in her field was speaking at conference. Advanced topic in adjective clause. Non-defining clauses. also known as non-restrictive clauses, provide additional information about a noun or pronoun but are not essential to the meaning of the sentence. They are set off by comma and are often introduced by relative pronoun which. Example, the book, which was written by a famous author, was very popular. And noun clause used as adjective clause. Noun clause can also function as adjective clause by providing additional information about a noun or pronoun in the main clause. They are introduced by conjunctions such as that, if, whether or not, and why. Example, the fact that he was there surprised me. Reduced adjective clauses are formed by omitting the subject and the verb to be from the clause. This creates a more concise and conversational style writing. Example, the concert that I attended last night was amazing. Okay, thank you. That's all. See you the next video. Bye bye.